your thoughts from yesterday's draft stuff and like how you sit with your roster now.
Well, we're really excited about our roster and excited about the draft, the way it went. Obviously, we lost a few kids on both ends, kids that were already in our program, and obviously 3 that were going to hopefully be here. But we knew we were probably going to lose those 3. But we kept some really good players. There's a few more of these guys that could have signed, and they had their number real high. Couple 3 in-state kids that if they would have, had a number that would have been half of what they wanted, they would have seen their name called. But instead, they chose to come to school and stick to that number and stay strong. We appreciate it.
Okay. Can you speak specifically to Casey? I guess he had his number high, and I guess he'll be back. Have you had that communication with him? And then what you thought of where Casey Martin went?
Yeah, Casey Opitz, I mean, he had an opportunity to sign. He just had to lower his number a little bit. And, he didn't feel like that he wanted to do that. It wasn't a good fit for him. And, he'll be back. We're excited to have him. And as far as, Casey Martin, he fell a little bit as far as, the number or where he was picked. I knew the Phillies really, really liked him, and that was only their second pick. And when he fell to them, they were really excited about that. But he's still going to get paid really nicely. And I think that, bottom line, he's with an organization that really wanted him, and he feels good about it. So I'm happy for him.
Okay. I know the other folks have questions too, but just finally, the catcher situation you have now, it's pretty stacked. I mean, what are options that you might have there?
Well, we've talked with both of our transfer catchers that were coming in, that if, the outside chance that Opitz came back, that, we're going to let them do whatever they need to do if they, they don't want to come in now. So we're in the process of working through that right now. Obviously we'd like to at least keep one of them. And if we don't, then we'll go from there. We've got some other plans.
Okay, thanks.
Yep.
Kara?
Hey, Coach. So what did you think about Heston and him going second overall?
Really excited for him. I think it's a great fit. Number one, because once he gets to the big leagues, and I've said all along, I feel like he's a big leaguer, it's a great park to hit in. And Heston uses the whole field. He's not just a pull guy. And the ball jumps all over that park, and it's not a real big park. And I just feel like that's a really good fit for him. And, we had gotten wind of it that he may go in this, to Baltimore with the second pick, and that they were working a deal, and they had a lot of picks early, and they were going to try to get a few guys, and it ended up playing out.
And the guys can't come back on campus until I think it's July something, but what kind of interaction are you having with them right now?
Mostly just texting, and a few phone calls here and there. Got some texts last night when the draft was over, from a couple of our guys, because there was a few of our other players in here that are older kids, that if they would have had a little lower number or really would have made an effort to sign, they could have, or they could sign now for $20,000, but that we don't see that happening. The guys are kind of banded together and going to come back and make a push for themselves personally to get paid a little better, but also hopefully win a championship.
All right, Coach. Thank you.
Okay.
Bobby?
Hey, Dave. Sometimes as a student, you can kind of get in that mindset like, hey, I'm going to go in. This is my last semester. And there's probably some guys that might have been drafted, rounds 5 through 40 had this been a normal year. How do they kind of gear back into coming back to school for another year and getting back into the college baseball mentality?
Yeah, it'll take a little bit of time, and we have a little longer summer than normal, I guess, because they basically had time off to start thinking about this a little bit more. We weren't in the heat of the battle of playing. So I feel like that, when they get back to campus full time, start getting back into the groove, and then they see that we have a good team, good talent, a lot of construction going on around here. I mean, just a lot of positive things. They're going to be highly motivated. I mean, these guys, I truly believe that they miss each other, and I think it'll be fun when they all get back here. And like I said, we'll pull together and get this team right, and we'll be ready to play next year.
Do you have a number in mind as far as the number of players that you want on your roster? Obviously, you're going to have the expanded this year. Or are you just going to kind of take everybody and kind of figure it out once the fall gets here?
Yeah, I mean, we've got to get through fall. I mean, there'll probably be a few guys that are here in the fall that won't be with us come January. It always works that way. And, so we'll probably have a few more than normal this fall. I think between now and the time school starts, the number will go down a little bit with, some guys. And we've already talked to some players, and they've gotten in the transfer portal to see what their options may be, because I wanted to give them a little bit of a head start. And there's still a few more that we've got to talk to and really discuss some things with them about the numbers and, where they were last year. And the same guys are coming back in the same areas that, positions that they play, and let them make an educated decision. And in some cases, I'm sure some of them might move on.
Thanks, Dave.
Yep.
Nate Allen. Nate, can you hear us? Let's go to Bob.
There we go. Wait a minute. Can you hear me
Go ahead, Nate.
now? Dave, with Robert Moore, will he move to shortstop next year since Casey's officially drafted and everything?
Well, I think Robert will work out at short a lot in the fall. And, we've got a couple other guys that play short as well. Robert's an awfully good second baseman, as you saw, and turns a double play really well. But we'll experiment with it, and we'll figure it out. Most of the time when you recruit infielders, especially the young ones, they're going to be shortstops at their high schools and summer ball a lot of times. So, there's definitely going to be some competition there, but Robert will be over there a lot as well. And, we'll see how it turns out.
Also, Tillette, what's his future with Casey Opitz coming back?
Well, I guess it would have been the same with the two transfer catchers here if they're both here. I mean, he's got to get his arm healthy, and he's got to go out and win a job. And he's been working hard. He had some trouble throwing last year, and we were pretty much in thinking we might be able to redshirt him. We just didn't know what to do with him, because it's all about him getting healthy and showing us what he can do. But he's working. You need more than one catcher. You need two or three, actually. So we got to make sure that we've got that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm going to go over to Matt Gelb. He covers the Phillies for The Athletic.
Hi, Dave. Thanks. I'm just wondering, you talked about how the Phillies were so high on Casey. What were your interactions like with Phillies people, and why do you think he fell where he did? Do you think he would have benefited really from a full season, had this all not happen?
Yeah, I think the Phillies have been interested in Casey since high school, because I know a couple of their scouts, and we've talked a few times over the last year or two about Casey, and they knew that I think they had the 15th pick in the first round, and then they didn't pick again until 80-some pick, and they didn't feel like that Casey Martin would be there, but there he was, and they got him. And I do believe that Casey got off to a slow start, but was really the last two games we played Grand Canyon University here. He had two great games. I think if we would have played a full season, he would have ended up having a tremendous season. So, I think it worked out for everybody as far as Casey's with a really good organization, an organization that really wanted him. I'm sure they came to I guess they came to an agreement on money and it worked out.
Matt Jones.
Dave, AJ Lewis, when he committed, he said that he played some other positions other than catcher. Is there any thoughts maybe seeing if he can play another position if he comes?
Well, that was the whole idea of him coming along with Robert Emery, was that he plays another position or two. He played third base. He's played outfield. He's played first base. You know, I've already talked with him. I mean, he'll have that option to play outfield. He'll have that option to, you know, play in the infield and catch. He was one reason we wanted AJ is because he is athletic and he can do other things besides just catch.
There were some reports this week about some legislative relief, eliminating the roster size, having more counters, do some things with scholarship limits. What were your thoughts on that?
Well, exactly what they approved is what I thought they would approve. They approved that we could have 32 counters, no roster limit, but they did not, you know, approve more scholarships, and we kind of figured that. And then there was another one, you know, where if somebody was already on a scholarship in your program and you were renewing them, some of the older kids, that you could put them on less than 25%. So it's nice to have that option. I don't know if we'll, you know, if that'll help us too much, but yeah, it was big relief for us and a lot of programs, especially in the SEC and some of the Power Fives, that, you know, we could have a bigger roster if we needed to, and then also have more counters. And I think that's going to help a lot of teams.
How much better do you think your team became with Casey Opitz coming back?
Well, Casey Opitz is one of the best players on the team and probably the best leader on the team. So I think we got a lot better.
Okay.
Bob.
Hey, Dave, can you hear me?
Yes.
Hey, how's everything going, man? Good to
Doing good.
talk with.
Good.
You know, Casey Martin, I think he was at least projected prospect-wise in the top 30, top 35, and you know, 87 is pretty good, but not as high as people projected. Do you think that's going to be a big motivating thing for him? I think he was like the 16th shortstop pick or something, according to Matt.
Oh, yeah. I think it would definitely, if you're a competitor, that's going to motivate you. You know, and a lot of the teams maybe didn't look at him as a shortstop. They looked at him as a really good athlete, maybe even an outfielder. He can play in the infield, and, you know, I think he would be an incredible second baseman, especially the way a lot of the big leagues are using the shifts. He can really throw. He could, you know, you can move him all over the place. You know, I think it was more about, in a lot of cases, it's more about what, you know, the signing bonus more than where they select you in the draft. Because I know there's a lot of teams that are overpaying in many rounds and underpaying in a few other rounds, so they could overpay people. It was all about getting as many good players as they could. So it ended up being a good fit for Casey. I'm really happy for him and his family.
And then with Casey Opitz, I wanted to make sure I understood. So he would have been drafted if he'd agreed to some lower bonus money. Is that what you were saying about Casey Opitz?
Yes, that's what it sounded like. And, you know, for him to sign, obviously he wanted a certain amount of money or maybe the right fit, right organization. And I don't think it all fell into place for him. And he got a lot of calls and there was a lot of interest in him, but it just didn't work out. And I think you got to give him credit. He knew he could come back and be draft eligible with some bargaining power next year and get to play with his teammates another year. And you know, he'll be drafted high next year, I feel like, and he'll have his degree or right at it when he walks out of here. I think it's a win-win. And he's going to catch for a long time. And I think most of the scouts that have seen him play and seen other catchers, they know that as far as catching and receiving, blocking, leadership, throwing, there's not a better catcher in the country. And they're going to watch him again and see how that bat comes on.
And then you were saying, do you expect one of those transfer catchers to probably pick another school with Casey being back? Is that your feeling?
Yeah, I mean, I would say so, and it's probably the right thing to do. I hope we keep one of them, and at least, and if we don't, then we'll have to make another move.
And it's obviously nice the NCAA is giving you some roster relief and letting you spread the money around a little bit more. But were you hoping to maybe get a couple more scholarships just for the 1 year? I mean, not just you guys, but obviously everybody having that as an option.
Oh yeah, that would have made my job a lot easier. And instead of having to just rework things or finagle, it's tough. 11.7 is the worst part of my job, honestly. And Division I baseball is sad to say we don't have enough scholarships, and it just doesn't make a lot of sense to me.
But you said you weren't surprised. You feel like that's just something they're not going to budge on even for a year?
Say that again.
I said you said earlier you weren't surprised they didn't expand the scholarships. Is that just something you feel like that's just something the NCAA is not going to budge on even for 1 year?
Yeah, I just feel like with all that's going on, resources right now, that they weren't going to let us have more scholarships because that was going to cost more money. It would have been nice if they would given us the option. Doesn't mean that every university has to, give you 2 more scholarships, but maybe an option for a little bit. But I didn't feel like that would pass, and it didn't.
Bob, we'll come back if you got more. Kyle Deckelbaum.
Dave, I wonder if you just speak to the legacy that Casey Martin and Heston Kjerstad leave behind them. Just, cornerstones to 2 teams that made trips to Omaha.
Yeah, I mean, that's, the first time it's been done. They were here 2+ years, and the 2 full seasons we played, they were freshmen the first year that were in the lineup, the team that almost won a national championship and, won a Western Division title. And then their sophomore years, obviously, pretty much the same result, getting all the way to Omaha, another title, league title. And then, coming back for their 3rd year. Those kids had a lot of experience, a lot of at-bats under their belt. They both put up big numbers, a lot of home runs, RBIs, and they know that they were a big part of both of those teams. Even when they were freshmen, we wouldn't have got to Omaha without those guys. And I tell the freshmen that all the time when they get here. We've got to have you. Don't just hang out as a freshman. Go get better, work hard. The future's now. And for us to get to Omaha, with the way the scholarships work and the depth of your team, the young guys, they've got to contribute. They got to help. And those guys did a tremendous job there.
What's your level of confidence right now? It appears we're moving in the right direction to play college sports in the fall, but what's your level of confidence as we sit in mid-June about playing fall ball as we know it?
I think we're going to get to play fall ball because we're an outside sport. There might be some changes on locker rooms and how many guys we can have, in the locker room and where we have our meetings, or we may have our meetings in the stands. I don't know. Where we have to communicate, but whatever we have to do to get out and to practice. And I know a lot of other universities are saying the same thing. We just, hopefully we can get back to normal as soon as we can, but we're real optimistic that, about it, that we'll be back out there working out, hopefully come September.
Thanks, Dave.
Yep.
Hutch.
Yeah, Dave, I just wanted to confirm you do expect the 3 guys that were drafted, the signees, they'll sign pro contracts?
Yeah, they'll sign. Yeah, they those teams wouldn't have taken them if they hadn't been in contact with them and pretty much got some dollar figures figured out.
And even without those guys, you have a lot of really talented guys coming in. You're just talking about how freshmen need to come in and make an impact. So, I mean, how many of these guys do you see possibly coming in and making an impact from day one?
I mean, it's hard to put a number on it, but we've got guys coming in here that they're physically ready to go. They're strong enough, and a lot of times that's the difference. We just have to get kids a little stronger. But we've got some confident, strong kids coming to campus that will definitely help us out. I mean, I'm going to say 7, 8, 10, 12. I mean, it's up to them. But we feel really good about the kids coming in, and they're going to help us win, and they're going to get better and develop. And I truly believe that in the 23 draft, these freshmen that are coming in now, you're going to see their names pop up pretty early.
Thanks, Dave.
Yep.
Matt Jones.
Dave, has the SEC given you any indication how they're going to handle the schedule next year in terms of conference games? Are they going to replay the 2020 schedule, or will you go to what was scheduled for 21?
Yeah, that's a good question. So we're going to play the 2020 schedule. We just don't know the order yet. We're going to play the teams at the sites we were supposed to play them at in 2020. That was the last thing that we've been told, and that we've been told that a couple of times. So we're just waiting for the order. Obviously, that could shuffle a little bit. Example, we were supposed to open on the road this year at Mississippi State. So we're going to play at Mississippi State in 21. We just don't know which weekend.
Okay. Have you had a chance to go up to Springdale and watch any of your players this summer? And what's it been like getting summer baseball scheduled with all these leagues that you like to put your players in? A lot of them aren't playing.
Yeah. No, we're just following it. We're really not supposed to be out there as far as sitting in the stands or anything. So, and yeah, I haven't been driving by keeping an eye on it. I'm just going to watch through there. I wish we could go watch games, believe me.
But what's that been like, though, setting up those summer rosters with these leagues being as in flux as they are?
Well, it's been difficult, and, I'm not the one really managing as much as my assistant coaches. Just I know where everybody's at, where they're not going now. It's been very difficult because we really would like the young hitters to go hit. The young pitchers, we really try to keep an eye on those arms, really limit them. And if they're not pitching in a league, as long as they're working, getting ready for fall ball. And it's nice to have some of our returners, especially the offensive guys, out swinging the bats a little bit. We'll try to make up for some lost time by getting as many live at bats in fall baseball as we can, probably more than ever. I see it right now with the pitchers that we have, and that we should be able to scrimmage a lot, like almost every day that we practice. So it'll be interesting.
You mentioned the catcher transfers earlier. You've also signed Brady Slavens and Lyle Lockhart. I wonder if you can kind of comment on the two of them and what you think of them as players. And then where do you see Slavens playing defensively?
Yeah, well, we'll start with Lockhart. I mean, he's a veteran lefty, and he's done a little bit for everything. He did a little bit of everything at Houston. He played some first base, some outfield, DH, and came out of the bullpen, and he started. This past year, he was starting for him. We think he's going to do a little bit of everything for us on the mound. Position player-wise, we don't, it's not our thinking at this time that, he's going to be a position player for us. But we want him to pitch, and I think that's more of what his future is. And, so we're excited that he decided to come on up here for his last year. And, as far as Slavens, I mean, he's swinging the bat really well this summer. I know that. I mean, he can play a little bit everywhere. He's played shortstop, third base, first base. He's played second base and outfield. So between one of those spots, I'd say he's got a pretty good shot to get in the lineup if he hits. And I think he's going to hit.
All right. Thanks, Dave.
Yep.
Bob, did you have any more?
Yeah, Dave. Sorry, did you guys call on me?
Yeah, go ahead, Bob.
Okay. Yeah, Dave, I think the first 7 or 8 picks were college guys, and obviously a lot of SEC guys were picked early and picked throughout the draft. Do you think all the college guys early, that's kind of been trending that way? Do you think that was more a byproduct of a shorter draft, or do you think that's going to keep trending? The teams, like the idea. Maybe it's a safer pick, an older, more developed guy rather than a high school player.
Yeah, I think it's year to year, but it is a safer pick. And, there's a lot of data to prove it. And, they're spending a lot of money on some young kids, and it doesn't pan out because they got their money and they lost interest, or they don't work hard enough, or whatever. The college player has a lot better track record. They've got a lot more looks at them, and a little more mature, obviously, and you just a lot of success there. So, you look at the draft, a lot of the kids that were drafted high that came out of college, they were either not drafted out of high school, maybe they wanted too much money, or they didn't get offered enough money and they were drafted and they went to college and they really helped themselves. And they seem to move through the minor leagues a lot faster and have success and get to the big leagues, and not only get to the big leagues, they stick in the big leagues, and that's what it's all about.
When you look at a guy like Benintendi, I think he was up with the Red Sox a year after he got picked, or year and a half, whatever it was. How did you see Hespin getting to Baltimore and being a regular?
Yeah, it's too bad that they're probably not going to play baseball this summer in the minor leagues, but he'll go out there to instruction league September, October, however they handle it, and he'll prove that that he can hit. And I think they're going to find out that he's a better outfielder than they know, because he really improved his defense last year, and he's a faster runner than I think they even know. Better athlete. So I'm hoping that, if he played this summer, he would have went to high A, maybe got a chance to play double A a little bit, but who's to say? But next year, I hope that he gets to double A. You're in double A. Anything can happen. They can call you up in September. You get a couple big hits, and there you go. So I think he's going to move pretty fast. I just physically, mentally, I feel like he's on his way.
Yeah, I'm good. Thanks, Dave. Thanks, Kyle.
You got it, Bob. Let's see here. Tom, did you have any?
Hey, Dave, I think that PT League is playing Goodhart at first base. Have you gotten any updates on his arm and whether he'll be a first baseman for you next year, maybe?
Yeah, he's going to try to play first base here. It's going to be up to his health. He's a good enough fielder, good enough athlete. He's a good target over there. He picks the ball well out of the dirt. But it's up to he's got to be able to throw. And I think, ball is going to be a big proving ground there. So I'm glad he's getting to play in the field and getting a feel for that, and that'll help him when he gets back over here.
And finally, for me, did you have a conversation with Casey Opitz last night or today? What's he thinking?
Yeah, I had a conversation with did you say Opitz?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I haven't talked with Casey yet. A couple of the other coaches I have been texting with him. Basically, what I'm getting out of it, he's excited to come back. He's over it. He's going to move on. His comment was, "I'm getting ready for the 21 season. I can't wait to get back." So he's pretty strong-minded, very confident, and he'll be like maybe other guys across the country. You kind of have a little lull and a little down about it because it didn't go exactly the way you were thinking. But on the other hand, he'll use that as motivation. And he really, when you think about it, he caught one full season for us and just a little bit, 15, 16 games this year. I think that he's looking forward to coming back and getting another full season with the Razorbacks, something he can take with him. Yeah. All right.
Let's see here. Anybody have any more questions for Coach Van Horn? Hutch, go ahead.
Yeah, Coach, I just have one more question about Opitz. I know the situations aren't quite the same, circumstances aren't the same, but could he be a guy kind of like Blaine Knight and Isaiah Campbell who, came back for another year and really improved their draft stock? Is that something you could see happening with him?
Yeah, I mean, that's one reason he's coming back, because obviously he could have signed for something, whether it was, I don't know, whatever the dollar amount. They didn't reach his number and he stuck to it. There's no doubt that he's going to go. He'll be one of the he'll be the best catcher in the country returning to college, as far as handling pitching staffs, calling pitches. Yeah, he's definitely going to move himself up on the draft boards next year.
That's all I got. Thanks, Coach.
Okay.
All right, Coach Van Horn, appreciate your time this morning.
All right. Thanks, guys. See you.